darling and coach and trainer Agnes Upor, or Leona. And it's called Anyone's Business. I don't want to say too much about it because there will be some surprises included. Yeah. So I'm passing you the mic already. And enjoy.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Yes, so there's no need to say my name because Fanny already took care of that. And yes, when I'm not dressed up as a fairy and doing LARPs and coordinating volunteers, I work as a trainer and also as a coach. I started out as a teacher, so I always say, like, once a teacher, always a teacher. So training for me is kind of like upgrade from that. And yes, speaking of why I look like a fairy, I always say that I have like two versions. I either go to corporate trainings, I hold them, and then I dress up very nicely, do my hair, do my makeup, and then teach stuff to people who actually wear suits and are very serious. By the way, I always bring them games as well, so yeah, I can't really go against myself, and I don't want to. Or when I'm not doing that, I'm usually wearing my hiking boots and cargo pants, and I'm outside with a bunch of teenagers and pushing them out of their comfort zones ever so gently. So yes, we're going to talk about LARP negotiation, communication, consent, and how to move that, how to sneak that into the workplace. And just to make sure, I'm probably not going to speak for an hour, and it's not just going to be a talk, because I don't think that would be, I mean, like, you're all very smart people, and I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on this. And one of the points is to make this, like, to gather your thoughts, to start a discussion, because I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, I'm not going to give you the holy grail of communication in business. But I've talked to quite a few of you in the past couple of days, and you all gave me some ideas, and some of them are actually included in the presentation. So when I say business, I'm not going to define what business is, but I'm also going to talk about work and workplace, and probably it's very different given how you work, who you work with, what's the actual place, whether it's home office, etc. We're not going into that. So for the sake of the presentation, when I say work, when I say business, we talk about a generic work environment. Probably a couple of the things I say won't be true to where you actually work. So, like, please give me that leeway for the sake of the thing. But let's get started. So let's say you're on a LARP and you walk into the room and see this. What's the first thing you say? Very nice recovery position. Very nice. Okay, yeah, guy's a first rescuer, so it's commenting on the position. Yeah, what else? How was the party last night? Okay. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay, thank you. Is that how all teachers end up? No. Yes. Okay. No. This is a LARP. So, like, you're questing, you're adventuring, and this, you open a room, and that's what's there.
I would ask if I can search her.
If I can search her. Okay. Well, you're very welcome to do that. You would move away the knife. Very good. Yes. Well spotted. Hmm?
Are you breathing in character as well?
Okay, so you would check with the player if you're dead, if you're alive in game, if you're breathing, etc. The other questions. Okay, let's say you're not a LARPer, and you open the room and you see this. What's the first question that you ask? Are you okay? Very important. Okay. Emergency number, okay. Right. She's asleep. No, he's like, yeah, that's what we were thinking about. Like, yeah, people gonna think I'm asleep. Okay, so whatever, you all had very good questions, actually. What I had in mind, that probably if it's a LARP, if it's you're in a quest, someone at some point would ask, like, what happened? Yeah, I mean, like, you're all very nice players first checking if I'm actually alive, right? What happened? I'm not going to answer that for now. But I'm going to tell you how this presentation came to be. Do you know what's the city here? She knows, for sure. It's in Poland, yeah. It's Krakow. Yeah, so it's Krakow. And it all started with a night walk in Krakow. It was actually on last year's Portal. And I was having a very nice walk with one of my friends. And it was late at night. And he started telling me about this lovely girl he's dating and all the complications that they are having at the moment. And so the story went on and on and on. And at some point, I just asked the guy, like, have you actually tried telling her, like, all these things that you've been telling me? And the reply was like, you know, there's this wonderful thing you do with your mouth, and it's called communication. Try it. And of course, like, we laughed about it, and then we went on our way. But this kind of stayed with me, that, like, because the guy's been LARPing for 20 years. And it's like, dude, I mean, communication is key, like, guidelines, boundaries. Like, how does it happen that you step out of LARP and you forget that, the right moment, the exact moment? So I started thinking, like, how it is that, especially in Nordic LARPs, but not only there, there's a lot of boundaries, there's a lot of communication, there's workshops on, like, the signs, how you check in. That's what you mentioned, like, are you okay, are you breathing, like, what's going on? And do we use that in our private life? Do we use that in our everyday life? And if not, why not? And of course, dating life and relationships are fairly more complicated than the workplace environment usually, or a LARP. So it might not be very evident how we move those panels, but it kind of gave me an idea that these are pretty similar, the workplace and the LARP. So what to do with that? So how are they similar? So actually it's a very fixed place. You know what's the in-game area, you know what's your office, what's your floor, what's your desk. Right? Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, even if you have flex desk. You know where you can sit, you know where you can be, you're not supposed to go into your boss's office, etc. There's off-limit areas. They're mostly the same people, so if there's like a 2 days, 3 days LARP, there's the same participants, well, there's mostly the same colleagues unless they leave. There's, of course, a little fluctuation. NPCs come, NPCs go, colleagues come, colleagues go. So the fractions and the team quests and the personal quests, because you might belong to a fraction, or it might be your very personal goal that you got on your character sheet. But you also have your projects, you preferably and hopefully have it defined what you have to do at your work and why you're doing that. Also, the roles are pretty well defined, whether it's a workplace, whether you're a team manager, whether you're the new joiner guy, whether you're responsible for team buildings or for catering or whatnot. Same goes for LARP, whether you're driving that ship, whether you, I don't know, you're the assassin, etc. You get the point. Is there a bad guy? That's always the question. There usually is. It's either the guy eating the garlic fish in the middle of an open office, or the one trying to sabotage you at LARPs. And also, there's usually a very well-defined framework altogether, and usually there's a code of conduct. LARPs, pretty much. Workplace, I wish we already had that. We had that everywhere. But yeah, I mean, technically they're supposed to have that, but I think the sad reality is that it's not always there. So they pretty much look the same, don't they? So why don't we take those negotiations and put them into our workplace? Well, there's quite a bit of differences as well. So the first thing I got is like, yeah, but LARPs are fun and works are not, duh. Okay, let's not go into that. Very important. I pay for my tickets. I'm there, so I have my rights. I have stuff that I can do, that I want to do. Workplace is a different thing. Well, they pay me not to have fun, but to do my work. Fair enough. Also, very common, very fair. One is real, the other one's not. And this is the spot where I would invite you to think of this, if you would argue with that, if you would agree with this. Because yes, LARPs are in a made-up world. Yes, it's not real. Yes, if you stab someone with a plastic weapon, they're not going to die, hopefully. So yes, but what's at stake, actually? So yes, your character is not real, but hours and hours of planning, of careful planning, whether it's yours or the organizers, went into creating that character. Hours of work went into creating your costume, writing the background story, creating the mannerisms, whatnot. So if it's like a 1 day, 2 day LARP, you've probably done some preparation, haven't you? Is there really nothing at stake? So when you say that I can't just go up to my boss and challenge him because, well, I can't pay my bills. And of course, it's a lot easier to do that in LARPs, but there's no real thing at stake, except the money you paid for the tickets and the next 3 hours of fun, whether you're going to spend that in prison, in-game prison, or you get to interact with the characters. So yes, still acknowledging that it's not the same reality, it's not the same word. I think there's actually a few things at stake. And yeah, I stole that sentence from this lovely guy over here. We were doing a chat in this topic. It's like, so are you suggesting I go up to my boss and slay him? Nope, I'm not suggesting that. But jokes aside, going there, like, you can do that with words. Like, are you sure you're not going up to your colleagues and like actually stabbing them with stuff? Like, oh, you haven't sent that email yet, have you? So yeah, let's be careful with that. And I'm saying that as a communications trainer because I believe that words have a big power. Also, how it's really different is how safe spaces are. And then I'm going back to the guidelines and the framework. So when you play a LARP, hopefully there's a safe space. Hopefully you know how you can opt out. There's people you can go to. There's people you can consult. If the bleed is very strong or if there's something triggering, they usually have the triggers out there. Workplace, not so much. So for me, if you ask me what's the biggest difference between LARP and workplace and business, is the safe spaces. Speaking of, yeah, just like try to breathe a bit. So safe spaces. And I'm very glad to be invited here as a speaker and to be able to speak of this as a girl, as a LARPer. And I'm very happy that we have business topics popping up. So we had one yesterday, which was again business, done by a very nice lady sitting here. And also we had another one just before me, again, LARP and business. So we walk in here as girls, as women, and talk about LARP. And it's natural. I'm here wearing my elf ears and no one bats an eye. In reality, if I walk into a big company led by 50-year-old men, they don't take me seriously. That's not, it happened, it's fine. And still I get to wear my flowers in my hair because I don't give a shit about that. So yeah, jokes aside, how safe is that? Yeah, thank you. So, and how much I'm allowed to present myself as I'm presenting myself. So yes, when I go to companies, I do dress up in a bit more serious way. Not very much, but just a bit. But I do get the question very often, so you go into companies and then you play with them? Like, yeah, kind of. That's what I do because I believe in the power of games. So yeah, for me, that's the biggest difference. Still, I'm going to open the discussion about that at some point. So, are you up for a little story/game? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm probably going to run around with the mic. That's the point, yeah. I hope it will work. So, I'm going to give you a story. And after that, I'm going to ask someone to keep track of time. Can I ask someone to keep track of time? Perfect, thank you. I'm going to give you 1.5-ish minutes. And do you know what is the difference between closed questions and open questions? Okay, just let... Yeah, of course. Very good, that was a closed question as well as the one I asked. So just to go through, closed question is the yes-no questions. If you ever learned English as a second language, this is, you ask something and the answer is either yes or no. Do you know what is? Yes, I know. No, I don't. On the other hand, open questions, when it's not as evident, so it's the what, where, how, when, etc. So I'm going to show you the story, and you will have 1.5 minutes to ask me closed questions to figure out the story. And then I'm going to give you another 1.5 where you can ask open questions. Okay, so let's see the story. So there lived a man in a city. One day he got on a train and went to another city. There he met someone and became very happy. A week later, he got on the train going home. Halfway home, he jumped off the train and died. What's the story? Is home the second city? Yes, home is a different city.
So home is not the man living in a city. This is not home.
What?
They live the man in a city.
No. So like he went from city A to city B, and from city B he was going home to A when he like jumped off the train and died.
So home is city A.
Yep.
Did he jump off the train by his own accord?
Yes, he jumped off the train his own accord.
Was the train running?
The train was running, yes.
Is
Sorry?
it related to the person he met?
It's not related to the person he met. Sorry, yeah? He did not have a massage. It's not the massage that made him happy.
Fall in love.
No, he did not fall in love.
Was it a family member he met?
It was not a family member he met. Was he happy because he met someone? Partially, but not fully. No, I would go with no.
Is his death related to a medical condition?
Yes, his death is related to medical conditions. You know the story? No. Okay, don't.
Was he suffering from a terminal illness?
He was not suffering from a terminal illness.
Was he sad at the time that he jumped?
Yes, he was sad at the time he jumped.
He was sad because he thought he would be dead anyway.
Thank you. No, he was not sad because he thought he would be dead anyway. No. Yeah. It's up. Thank you. Okay. How much do you know about the story? Not much, right? Okay.
Played these games in high school, actually.
We play a lot of games. You are in a room full of gamers.
I mean, I know, yeah. And this is the first time I do it with LARPers and gamers. So I'm like, this is kind of a test for me as well, if it works or not. Okay. How about I give you another 1.5 minutes with open questions?
Explain me how he jumped.
Okay, wait. Can I ask someone to... Yeah, let me know. Okay.
Can you explain me how he jumped?
Yes, I can explain you how he jumped. Well, he went to the door of the train and jumped. Why was he happy? Very good. He was happy because he was seeing wonderful things finally.
Oh, he was blind.
Yes, he was blind. Very good. That's it. Well done. Basically 2 questions. Okay. So, point of the story, and this is why...
Why he jumped then?
Oh, yes, no, sorry, you still have to figure that out. Okay, sorry. Questions? Yeah.
Did he finally see his wife cheating on him? Yeah, I was thinking that.
No, he was not seeing his wife cheating on him.
Something from the train, right?
He did not see something from the train.
He was seeing things, and then on his way back, he stopped seeing things.
Yes, that's what happened. He was seeing things and he stopped seeing things.
So he regained his sight and lost it again in the train?
He regained his sight, yes. He did not lose it. That's not exactly what happened.
Okay, so he went in a tunnel and think that he lost his sight again and jumped.
Very good. Yes, yes. Yeah, so the train went into a tunnel and he thought he lost his sight again, and that's why he jumped. Sorry, this is not a happy story. It's made up, okay? It's made up. He's all right. He's just an NPC. Okay. So, I know, sorry. Yeah. So, and this is very circle. By the way, well done. Yeah, you guys did it in less than 1.5 minutes. So this is the power of open questions, and I'm probably not telling you anything new by that. This is very circle back to the picture of me lying with the knife and the cucumber and whatnot. By the way, Fanny has already left, but there was this very funny moment when, because I knew she will not be here, so it's not spoiling anything for her to take this picture, that I was lying on the ground and we were like throwing random things next to me, and she was standing on a chair taking a picture, and then the photographer guy came and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm taking a picture. And I was like, okay. So the question, so if you've asked me one question at the end, I would had to cancel the whole thing, and that question is, what happened? Yeah, if you ask me what happened, the game is off. I either say like, I'm not gonna answer that, or it's cancelled. So why am I telling you this? Because when I was doing the trainers training, the lady who was leading the course, I refer to her as my mentor, we're still good friends, and she's an amazing professional. She called this what happened, yes, so she called this what happened, a magical question that saves marriages. Well, spoiler, that didn't work for me, but it's really is a magical question. Like, you go home and you see the other person upset, it's just like, hey, what happened? And that's the first half. The second half is you listen. And that's why I always say on communication trainings. What? 50% yes. 50% of the time it works all the time. That was the comment. Yeah, so the power of open questions. And I promise you not to give you the holy grail and not to give you like the best solution, but as many times as you can, use open questions. And if you think back of LARPs, if you think back of mysteries, I think you very often ask, like, what happened? What's the story? What do we need to do? What's the goal, etc. So I came up with a few questions that I think would work well. What's the quest? Very similar, what's the goal? Of course, you go to a LARP, you have your aims, you have your goals, but you can very well ask this in a workplace, yeah? What's my personal quest? What's the team quest? Why am I here? Yeah? If the reason is because I get paid, good, okay, that works. But then you know, yeah, that's your quest, get paid, get paid at the end of the month. As valid a reason as anything else. But again, I think this is a very simple question. Again, what happened? When you see someone upset, when you see there's trouble going on, there's gossip going on, deadlines coming, boss shouting, whatnot, what happened? Listen to them. And also, question number 3, which is not really a question, and I got the idea from someone I was talking to yesterday, so I was just goblining little bits of this presentation from people, she said that the thing I love the most about LARPs is the yes and thing. And just think how often you can do that in your life. So if you think of the whole thing as a story, as a quest, it just changes the whole narrative. And circling back to how real it is, or how much you can bring from LARPs and sneak it into work life, private life. Obviously not everything, but I suggest you start bit by bit and take as little or as much as you can, and just look at the situations. Can I yes and this? Can I ask what happened? Can I just sit there and listen to the person? Is that going to change the narrative? Yeah, because I do believe in the power of communication. I wouldn't be a communications trainer otherwise. So that was it on my part, and thank you for your attention. And I would love to open up the discussion, and I think that's not going to work with the streaming, but that's fine. We're going to say bye to the people following the stream. And I would like to hear you, let me just, okay, we still have plenty of time. So I would just like to hear, maybe to make a circle and then hear your opinion about if you use it in your private life, if you don't use it, how much you use it. Have you seen good examples, bad examples? What's your generic thought? So I'm planning to open this as a discussion to steal some more and have an even better presentation next time. Okay, I think I'm gonna